The roar of the crowd was deafening. Men shouted, money exchanged hands, and the smell of blood hung heavy in the air. In the middle of the pit, a battered German shepherd stood trembling, one eye swollen shut, yet he refused to back down. Then the arena door burst open. Officer Mark Reynolds stormed in with his team, shouting, "Police!" Nobody moved, but when his flashlight swept across the ring, his world stopped. Those eyes. That scar on the ear. That stance. "Rex?" He whispered, his voice breaking. The dog froze, tail twitching. Then, with a whimper that cut through the chaos, he stumbled forward. Mark dropped to his knees, tears falling. "I found you, partner. I found you." Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Officer Mark Reynolds had seen danger, violence, and loss in his 15 years on the force, but nothing ever hit him harder than the day he met Rex. The young German shepherd had been rescued from an abandoned training kennel, scarred but full of fire. From the first moment, Mark saw something in his eyes: loyalty, intelligence, and a quiet courage that couldn't be taught. Over the next 5 years, the two became inseparable. They patrolled the city streets, tracked fugitives through the dark, and rescued missing children together. When Rex succeeded, Mark celebrated. When Rex got hurt, Mark blamed himself. It wasn't just a working partnership, it was brotherhood. At the end of every shift, Mark would toss Rex his favorite ball, saying with a grin, "One more mission, partner." Rex would bark once, tail wagging, ready as always. But one night, during a drug bust on the outskirts of town, everything went wrong. A sudden explosion ripped through the warehouse, sending fire and smoke everywhere. Mark was thrown back, his radio lost in the chaos. When he came to, Rex was gone, his leash torn, his vest burned. "Rex!" He screamed into the flames, voice breaking. But there was no answer, and in that moment, Mark's world fell silent. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The city moved on, but Officer Mark Reynolds couldn't. His badge still shone, but his spirit dimmed. Every night, he sat by Rex's empty kennel, staring at the torn K9 vest he couldn't bring himself to put away. He'd replay the explosion over and over in his mind. The flash, the smoke, Rex's bark fading into the chaos. He searched everywhere: shelters, vet clinics, even abandoned lots on the city's edge. But hope was fading. "He's gone, Mark," his captain had said gently. "You have to let go." But Mark couldn't. He'd made Rex a promise. "I'll always come for you." Then, one cold evening, everything changed. A call came into dispatch. An anonymous tip about an illegal dogfighting ring in an industrial zone outside town. The voice on the line was shaky, frightened. "They've got a new dog," the caller said. "A big shepherd. Looks trained. Acts different. Like a police dog." Mark's heart stopped. He grabbed his jacket before the call even ended. "Send me the address," he said, voice trembling. "Mark," his captain warned, "we don't know what we're walking into." Mark's jaw clenched. "I don't care," he said. "If there's even a chance it's him, I'm going." The air was thick with tension as the convoy of police SUVs rolled through the outskirts of the city. The location matched the tip, an abandoned livestock arena, isolated and silent under the cover of night. Floodlights were off, but the faint echo of barking could be heard from within. Officer Mark Reynolds gripped the steering wheel tightly, his stomach twisting. "Team Alpha in position," the radio crackled. Mark checked his weapon, though his thoughts were far from procedure. He whispered under his breath, "Please, Rex. Please be there." The officers moved in quietly, circling the perimeter. The smell hit them first, a mix of blood, dirt, and fear. Then came the sound, the roar of men cheering, dogs growling, chains rattling. Mark's heart pounded. "Move!" The captain shouted. The team stormed in, weapons raised. Chaos exploded. People scattered, dogs barked wildly, and the arena lights flickered to life, revealing the horror inside. Dozens of cages lined the walls, each holding terrified animals. Then Mark saw it. In the center ring, two dogs fought under the blinding lights. One large pit bull, the other a battered German shepherd wearing a shredded collar. Mark froze. Even beneath the blood and scars, he knew that stance. The eyes filled with fire and pain. It was Rex. For a second, Officer Mark Reynolds couldn't move. The world around him blurred, the shouting, the chaos, the flashing lights, all fading into a dull hum. All he could see was that dog. His dog, Rex. He whispered, lowering his weapon. The German shepherd stood trembling, covered in blood and mud. His body was scarred, one ear torn, but his spirit, it was unmistakable. The pit bull collapsed beside him, whimpering, but Rex didn't attack. He just stood there, chest heaving, eyes locked on Mark. Wary, confused, Mark stepped closer. "It's me, buddy. It's Mark." Rex growled faintly, tail stiff, his mind still trapped in survival mode. But then, a small sound slipped from his throat, a low whine, shaky, uncertain. His ears flicked. His eyes softened. Mark fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Come here, boy. Please." Rex took one hesitant step, then another. The second Mark opened his arms. Rex lunged forward, collapsing against him, licking his face, crying in short, broken whimpers. The other officers stood frozen, watching in silence as Mark held his partner close, both of them trembling. "You're okay," Mark whispered through tears. "I've got you. I'm here now." For the first time in months, Rex closed his eyes, finally safe, finally home. The night of the raid ended in a blur. Dozens of arrests were made, cages were opened, and wounded dogs were rushed into vans. But Officer Mark Reynolds stayed by Rex's side the entire time. The once fearless K9 now lay limp on a stretcher, his breathing shallow, his paw resting weakly on Mark's AR-MT, the animal trauma unit. Rex was immediately taken into surgery. Mark paced the hallway for hours, blood still on his uniform, hands shaking. Every second felt endless. Finally, the vet emerged, exhausted but smiling faintly. "He's tough," she said. "He's got broken ribs, infections, dehydration, but he's fighting to live." Mark nodded, tears filling his eyes. "That's my boy." Days passed, then weeks. Mark refused to leave the hospital. He slept in the waiting chair, talked softly through the kennel bars, even brought Rex's favorite chew toy, torn but still recognizable. Each time Rex heard his voice, his tail twitched just a little more. Meanwhile, the raid uncovered a massive dogfighting network, leading to national headlines. Reporters called Rex a hero, but to Mark, he was something more, a survivor. When Rex finally stood on his own again, Mark placed a hand over his heart. "You didn't quit on me," he whispered, "and I'll never quit on you." 3 months later, the precinct courtyard was filled with quiet anticipation. Officers, reporters, and families had gathered beneath the morning sun for a ceremony unlike any other. At the center stood Officer Mark Reynolds, his uniform crisp, his hands trembling slightly. Then, from behind the doors, came the sound everyone had been waiting for, the familiar rhythm of paws against the floor. Rex appeared, walking slowly but proudly, his scars visible yet dignified. The crowd gasped as he trotted to Mark, tail wagging softly. Mark dropped to one knee, his eyes wet. "Hey, partner," he whispered, smiling through tears. "You made it." The police chief stepped forward, voice steady. "For unmatched courage and loyalty, we award K9 Rex the Medal of Valor." The crowd erupted into applause as the medal glimmered on Rex's collar. Mark stood beside him, addressing the audience. "They called him a fighter," he said softly, his voice breaking. "But Rex, he was never that. He's a protector. He always was." Later, as the crowd dispersed, Rex rested his head on Mark's knee, closing his eyes peacefully. The narrator's voice faded in. "They broke his body, but not his spirit. Because love and loyalty can't be trained. They're born." And under the golden light, man and dog sat together, partners forever.